Hey, what's up, BadgerDAO community? Just wanted to answer a couple questions that we're getting about how these claws products are going to work. I'm just going to give kind of a quick overview. So as you might already know, there's going to be these two products. There's B claws and S claws, and they differ in one main thing, which is that they're going to be backed by a different collateral type. So in one case, it's going to be the B Badger token, and then the other, it's going to be the B WBTC ETH SLP token. Someone asked if you would be unstaking your BTC ETH SLP in order to create this, but the answer is no. You're going to take this token that you already have in your wallet and stake it on UMA in order to mint the yield dollar product, which is the claws thing. So you're going to stake these, and you're going to get this token that's worth about $1. Now, what are you going to do with that? Well, you can swap it for USDC and do whatever you want with this, right? This is something you can go farm with, you can earn on compound. There's myriad things you can do with assets in this period of time. However, these products will have a 60-day expiry, and people are not really understanding why they expire. Some people are asking, like, why did we choose to do that when we could have just made them perpetual? Well, the current design of UMA is that all of the live products expire. And actually, the reason that we can even confidently sort of say they'll be worth $1 is because they will expire at the value of $1. And what that means is, like, so in 60 days from now, I know it equals $1. So what does it equal today? So what does the claws product equal today, right? So this price is basically just going to depend on what the market will pay for it. So the market price. Now the market is going to pay for it based on what interest rate they want to get. The interest rate. This isn't going well. Interest rate. Well, I'll just say it out loud. Okay. So they're going to pay a price. Let's say they pay 95 cents for it, right? So that means you need to sell your minted claws, your S and B claws for 95 cents and repay your debt before the 60 days is up. And you're going to be repaying your debt in something that expires at the value of $1. So it expires here. So that essentially means that you are paying this 5 cents in between this time and this time for the privilege of borrowing this money. Now this 5 cents I've just made up. This is not the number to hang on to. This will change over time. This price here will change over time, just depending on the market's willingness to pay for this product. If somebody comes in with USDC and buys these for 95 cents and they expire in 60 days for $1, well, they are basically buying something that will yield 5 cents per dollar over 60 days, which is what, 60% APY? Just doing some napkin math in my head. I don't know if that's quite right. So that's kind of a basic idea. That I don't want to go into too much detail here. What I really want to answer for people is expiry. What happens at expiry? Because people are concerned, understandably, what happens. So if you're holding claws products, you will have these tokens that pre-expiry are worth about $1. Post-expiry, they're going to be worth $1's value of the collateral at the moment of expiry. So imagine that the token expires at midnight on, let's say, 4/31. 4/30, I don't know how many days there are in April. I'm writing that as an American date as well. Let's say it expires at a particular day in time. And let's say we're talking about the B claws product. what's going to happen is each one of these tokens will be worth $1 of the value of B Badger at this time. So let's say B Badger is trading for $60 at this moment of expiry. Then each one of these B claws after expiry will be exchangeable for 1 out of 60th B Badgers. And this relationship right here, this will hold true forever. Forever. Every single B clause that's of this particular issuance, meaning like if there's multiple expiries and multiple issuances over time, these are different, they're non-fungible with each other. But for any particular issuance, once this expires, it will be worth exactly this ratio because of this price that I specified, a $60 expiry price. It will be worth exactly this ratio forever. And so what that means is if you're holding these B clause tokens, let's just say you haven't sponsored a position, you're not using collateral, you're just holding the tokens. After this expiry date, they become worth this forever. Okay, so that's like what happens if you are just holding the tokens and they expire. So now let's talk about what happens if you're a sponsor. So let's say you staked B Badger. What happens to these, right? And what happens? So let's say you staked $200 of B Badger, and you minted 100 claws. Your debt is these 100 claws, which will not necessarily be worth your debt might not be $100 of debt all the time, but at expiry it will be exactly $100 of debt. So your debt is $100 at expiry. And what's going to happen is the protocol, if you haven't paid back your debt, is going to debit your position with exactly this much of the collateral. And so what's going to happen is you're going to lose, in this example that I gave above, you're going to lose 1/60th of a B Badger token per claw that you have outstanding, that you haven't repaid. And you should recognize here, like this up here that I talked about is coming from here, right? These are just other sides of the same coin. So every piece of debt that hasn't been repaid is going to be automatically sort of recollected by the protocol, and it's going to be held waiting for anyone who needs to claim their tokens. And so what can happen in the meantime, let's say you don't want to deal with expiry, the other path is people here can sell, the people who are holding these outstanding clause tokens can sell them to these people who can repay before expiry. And this market right here, this is the liquidity pool, the AMM liquidity pool. And so what you'll see as expiry approaches is you'll see some swings of the prices based on the market sort of deciding whether or not they want to wait for expiry. But what's great about this is you'll never overpay to repay your debt, because or at least I'm telling you not to overpay, right? Like if people are asking you to pay $1.05 for a claw in order to repay your debt, like just let it expire, right? Let it expire, let it debit from your collateral, and repurchase. Just repurchase, take your USDC that you borrowed or whatever assets you have and repurchase the underlying collateral. Okay, this was my very, very messy, really love my child handwriting here, explanations here. It can be the first of many. Just keep asking questions and I will happily answer them. Cheers, guys.